Who doesn't love the smell and the beauty of lavender? When it's in its peak and it's in full bloom, it smells heavenly. There's a lot of medicinal benefits to lavender, as well as the beauty and how it attracts all those lovely pollinators that we want in our garden. So today I'm planting some lavender. I'm planting a whole hedge of it on the edge of my property, and I wanted to show you how I do it, especially talking about how to do it with clay soil. I have 7 lavender plants here that I propagated last year from a big bush that someone had on their property, and I can someday go over how to propagate. But these are looking pretty good so far. I did it last year, so they've had a full season to mature. They're a little root bound, but not too bad yet. So I really want to make sure I get them in the ground this year. My dogs are going to interrupt the video again with their barking, so please ignore them. Lavender is from the Mediterranean. Think hot and dry. Lavender, in fact, is one of the easiest plants to grow. And the reason is because it can grow in what we think of as very dry and infertile soil, pretty much bad soil. Lavender loves bad soil. Make sure that wherever you plant lavender that it gets full sunlight. Lavender needs 8 to 10 hours a day or more of full sunlight. It likes a lot of heat and it doesn't like a lot of moisture. Lavender is pretty easy once you've got it established. It's pretty easy to maintain. You don't need to fertilize it. You don't even need to water it. It's fantastic in that regard. The one thing lavender does not do well with is clay soil and a lot of moisture. And guess what? I have both. I have been doing a lot of research into how to exactly to plant lavender when you have soil like I do. So the first thing we need to do is create more drainage for the lavender plant. So I have very clay-like soil underneath here. I've already amended some of it with some compost. Compost is great for helping with that. But lavender actually doesn't really need a whole lot of amending of the soil. So another thing that I use is pea gravel and some sand, and I'll show you how I do it. So I have a pile here that is a mix of compost and topsoil that I got from a local store, and I went ahead and just poured in a lot of sand, and I'll show you what kind of sand I get. It's pretty much a all-purpose sand. Basically, you're going to be increasing that drainage for the soil. So I pre-mixed that into this mix here that I have, and that's what I'm going to be putting around the lavender because my soil here is just pure clay. So in case anyone is wondering how clay-like my soil is, here's a good example. Just look at that clay. Lavender does not thrive in this. It needs really good drainage, otherwise the roots will just rot. So this is not great soil for it. We need to make it a little sandier. So as you can see here, I created a very shallow hole for my lavender plant. If I were to place it in there, you can see that it would be higher, which is great. That's what I want. And I added some of that topsoil compost mix already, and I had pre-mixed some sand into there. But first, before I do anything, I'm going to add some pea gravel to this to help with that drainage. I'm going to put a few handfuls there. This will help a lot with the drainage. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to add a little more soil to build this back up. All right, now it looks like I pretty much don't have a hole right now. That's great. I don't want that. Before I do anything else, I'm just going to actually add a little more sand here because really, lavender cannot be hurt by too much drainage. There we go. That's perfect. All right, so then I'm gonna go ahead and get the lavender out. You can see here it was just starting to get a little root bound, but not too bad. I'm just gonna kind of break it up a little bit. The inside, break up those roots just a smidge. I don't like to do much. Just looking at that, you're thinking, that's really high up there, but that's perfect. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring in the rest of that topsoil and compost mix. I'm going to mound this up so that it is several inches higher than the surrounding area to help with that drainage. Now remember, I already pre-mixed some sand into this to help with that drainage too. Go. And for good measure, I'm even gonna add a little bit extra around here. Just kind of mix it in. There we go. Make a nice mound there. Now I didn't add any fertilizer. If you are concerned about it, I understand a little bit of bone meal can help with blossoms, but really lavender doesn't need much fertilizer. And that, my friends, is it. As you can see here, all the lavender I planted down there in little mounds. Should look really nice when they're full grown. So now I got all my lavender all planted. I hope that this was helpful. You learned some new things. If you liked this video, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button as well. And leave a comment below if you have any other tips on growing lavender. Always looking for new ideas and new things. Thank you for watching.